I think it's working. Oh, and I even have the sound on. How about that? Well, good evening, friends. Happy to be back in the office with electricity and running water. And I know that some of you are still dealing with fallout from the thaw out. So we're keeping in our prayers, and let us know if there's any way that any of us can help you. Because I know there's lots of folks who would be happy to help in any way we can. I actually have an announcement tonight, and it is a good announcement, but also a sad one. So as you know by now, our very own John Balmer, our youth minister here, has been called to the pastorate in Virginia, so kind of a ways away. It's actually a long ways away. And we want to say thank you to his many years of ministry here at the church, not only to our youth, but to our entire congregation. So we're inviting you to a drive-by blessing for John, and it's happening this Saturday. So I just wanted to remind you, it's in the email, of course, but anyway, so I hope you will hope to see you on Saturday up here as you drive by and offer John your blessing and thanksgiving for his time here. That's it. I was trying to think if there was another announcement, but so I was thinking back about prayers, obviously, because we're gonna have one tonight, and I know I shared this one Wednesday night since we've been in virtual fellowship. And but I love it, and I could pray it all the time, and do pray it often. But it's a prayer by Thomas Merton that's fairly famous, and anyway, it seems appropriate. And I just found out today. I've said this prayer hundreds of times and read the book Thoughts in Solitude, in which it's written, but I didn't realize that it was written for Lent. So anyway, let's pray together. My Lord God, I have no idea where I am going. I do not see the road ahead of me. I cannot know for certain where it will end, nor do I really know myself. And the fact that I think I'm following your will does not mean that I am actually doing so. But I believe that the desire to please you does, in fact, please you. And I hope that I have that desire in all that I am doing. I hope that I will never do anything apart from that desire. And I know that if I do this, you will lead me by the right road, though I may know nothing about it. Therefore I will trust you always. Though I may seem to be lost, and in the shadow of death, I will not fear, for you are ever with me, and you will never leave me to face my perils alone. Amen. All right, well, we're back in the saddle for as far as sharing our childhoods. I looked it up, and that's correct. It's childhoods. It just sounds really off. We're sharing them, our stories from childhood together. And tonight, we're going to hear from Dorothy Schleicher about her childhood. So I'm very excited for that. And without further ado, here we go. Just kidding. That was obviously Lydia playing the organ. And okay, now here we go. I think we're all set. So Dorothy Schleicher is here with us tonight and telling us a little bit about her childhood. So can we start with you telling me a little bit about where you grew up, either the region or the city or the house, or even your room, things that stand out about the place where you were as a child?
I was born in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Both my parents had gone to Oklahoma Baptist University. And when, after I was born, my dad felt a call to the ministry. So we moved to Fort Worth, but we weren't there not even 2 years because it was the middle of the Depression and they ran out of money. So
Oh,
so we came back to Oklahoma, and he took a pastorate in a little town called Merrimack, Oklahoma. It was really small, but there were some oil field camps outside the town. So some of the members had jobs there. I remember that there were only two um, indoor bathrooms in the whole town. But one of them was our deacon chair. He had a big family and had a house with a bathroom. So it was always nice to go visit him.
I bet.
But that was a wonderful place. We lived there 5 years until I was 7. Um, and there were so many good church people. Just just made it a wonderful place to grow. I remember when I was about 4, going with the church group caroling for the first time, going through the snow to all the different houses, and they all gave us some candy or something. That
Wow.
was,
Oh,
that was
that's
really neat.
great.
Yeah,
So it was, I mean, I guess y'all knew everyone in town probably.
we did. Yes. My dad was what they called then a soul winner. He just loved to talk with people, especially the men, and so many of them then were baptized and became part of the church. So
That's wonderful. Now, did the church have a baptistry, or did y'all?
yeah, yes, we
Okay.
did. But actually, I became a Christian when I was 6 because we had revival meetings every year, and I had heard all the way about needing to become a Christian, and I wanted to be part of God's family too. So, and I guess in the summer after I was 6, um, and several of my friends, we were baptized in a pond on a farm, one of the members'
Oh, wow. Okay.
farms. Still have a picture of that.
Oh, that is so cool. Nice.
Um, and then we moved after that to another town for a couple of years, and then to the town in northern Oklahoma where I grew up, and it was another oil field town. But that was a good experience too. So,
Yeah. So how has being from oil field towns shaped you, and who you've been through different phases of your life? Growing up a pastor's kid, and I assume did y'all live in the parsonage?
we did, and I was thinking members would come by so often and bring some vegetables straight from their garden, or a piece of beef. They had just butchered a cow or maybe a pig, and they would always bring us some of the meat.
Wow.
Just, yeah,
Nice.
it was, yeah, lots of fried chicken dinners. They
Yeah.
knew the preacher liked fried chickens.
Love it. That's one of my favorite sayings, that where two or more Baptists are gathered, somewhere a chicken is dead.
I think that's right.
Well, what's an activity or a game that you were playing or doing when you were most happy as a child?
Well, if I was with friends, that was the best part. We used to play hopscotch
Uh-huh.
and Mother May I and Red Rover, kind of come over or something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all those games. But I love to read
Mm,
too, so
yeah.
did lots of reading. I remember Heidi and Little Women, Pollyanna books. I read, several times. I loved them and read them over. But we had a little library in town, so
Oh,
I
great.
went there often and checked out books too. But I was thinking that two things that I especially enjoy were Vacation Bible School
Mhm.
every summer. Really look forward to that. And my parents loved it too. So they were involved in teaching. Um, since we lived in the oil field and most of the members lived out in the camps and had to drive in, um, we had, instead of a 2-week Bible school like most churches were doing, um, we had all day Bible school for 1 week. So they didn't have to drive so much. So we had all the stories and the memorizing verses and Bible drills. I love those Bible drills. And then in the afternoon, we had arts and crafts and just really had fun, doing those things. So it's a wonderful memory of Vacation Bible School.
Oh, that is so great. That's neat. So you had there were lots of, even though it was a small town, there were still lots of children your age to run around with.
There were. Mhm.
Good. Good.
And the other thing that I really enjoyed um, was Thanksgiving reunions with my dad's family. Um, he had, see, 4 or 5 sisters, and they were all named after flowers. There was Violet and Rose and Ivy and Uni Pink. So, but they were just great people, and everybody had such a good time. So there were like, you know, 50 of us that all gathered at my Aunt Uni's house every Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's wonderful.
People told stories, lots of laughing.
That. Now, did she live close by?
She lived in Seminole, Oklahoma, on a farm outside there, so it was about 100 miles or so away.
Okay. Okay.
And we always had a flat on the way driving.
Your poor dad. Oh, that's wonderful though.
It really
Yeah.
was.
Do you remember what one of your favorite toys was as a child?
It was Elizabeth, the doll. She went to bed with me every night. So,
Oh, okay. Tell me about Elizabeth.
she was a pretty good sized doll, about 12 or 14 inches tall, and I had clothes to change, to dress her up.
Nice, nice. Did your mom make the clothes for her, or did
She
you?
did. She did. Yeah, my mother was a really great seamstress. She made, all of my clothes until I wanted to have something store bought. So, but yeah, she was a great seamstress.
Oh, that's great. That's great. It's so funny now thinking, if you grow up and your mom's making all your clothes, all you can think is, wouldn't it be great to have something from the store? But for the rest of us who buy stuff off the store that doesn't fit quite right, you think, oh, wouldn't it be great if I knew somebody who could just make clothes for me?
That's true. That's
Yeah.
right.
Goodness. Well, what's something that gave you comfort as a child? Obviously, Elizabeth, your doll, did some, but what else gave you comfort?
It was my dad. Anytime, I was unhappy or had a problem, I just went to him and he fixed it. I remember going with him on his pastoral calls. A lot of times I went along with him. And people
Oh,
were always nice to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Uh,
wonderful.
yeah. I remember sitting in his lap as a 6-year-old. He was reading Hurlbert's Bible stories, a classic children's Bible storybook. And that was just the perfect place to be.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful. Now, did he work from home or did he work in the church? Was his office in the church?
Yeah, across the street in
Okay.
the church. Yeah. Hmm.
Could you go in and see him during the day, or was that a strict boundary?
Anytime.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love it. I love it. But tell me something that you remember learning as a child when you remember, oh, that's how this works. You kind of figured something out.
I think it was the piano when I was 7. I remember sitting there and realizing I could actually play a song.
Wow.
Not very well, but, but yeah, my mother was a really good pianist. She taught piano to students. And so I always wanted to play the piano. So
That's great. Did she give you did your mother teach you how?
no, that didn't work so well. So we got another teacher.
Uh, I'm glad to hear that's not just our family, but your your respects like that too. Oh, that's great. That's great. Can you tell me about something that was difficult for you to do or to learn as a child? A struggle you had?
Well, I wanted to play basketball well, but I never could. I just couldn't do it well. I did learn later that I had a lazy eye.
Uh-huh.
So maybe that interfered. That was a good excuse anyway, not be able to play so well.
That seems legitimate. What was one of your greatest mysteries as a child?
Our town had a law that Black people could not stay overnight in the town. They had to leave. And I didn't really question that for a while. And then by the time I got in high school, I started thinking about that and, wrote an essay for English on second class citizens. So I was thinking about that, but just, that I didn't even know one or had never met a Black person when I was a child. So,
Right. Wow. But you had that sense of justice and equality already in you that lets you know something's not right about this.
yeah.
Yeah.
And even when I got to college at Oklahoma Baptist University, we had Black people who came from Africa, the
Mhm.
missionaries brought back, but none from, you know, Oklahoma.
Right.
It was
Wow.
it was strange.
Yeah. Well, can you tell me about your best friend before middle school?
Um, one of them was named Eva, and she came from a family. See, her parents had 2 sets of twins, 3 other girls, and 2 other boys.
Oh,
So
my
however
goodness.
many that was. But her mother was the kindest person. She was the one who kept my brother and me when our parents went to the Southern Baptist Convention or a state convention. She was the one who kept us. And just always so kind. I remember for Sunday lunch, she would make huge pans of homemade hot rolls. I don't know how many dozens she made.
Wow.
And they were so good. And I got the idea from her that when I got married, I wanted 8 children. So that was just the perfect number. I changed later on.
Oh, that's great. Whew. Big families are fun, but they're fun to visit, and then
That's right. Yeah, we used to wash dishes forever. It
oh
seemed
my goodness. So well, is there anything that you wanted to tell us that I forgot to ask about?
yeah, I wanted to say I'm just so thankful for all the Christians that I have known from childhood on. I received a picture of the world as a good place full of good people. Um, I was, just from those early days until at 7th, Thelma Cooper and Bill and Archie Hillis and Dorothy Clark. Yes, meant so much to know them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a wonderful thing to get to have that foundation of love and trust, and just goodness.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Really is.
Well, I am so glad that you had that, and I know that you are a very good steward of it, because you make the world so much a better place. And so I'm really grateful for you sharing your childhood with me, with all of us, and thank you for doing this.
Thank you.